this video is going to hopefully help you understand how to trick yourself into doing work that you want to do and how to actually understand the amount of money that you can get paid to do specific work. This actually came as a result of talking through one of our Evolve community chats, and then it came up again when I asked someone who was in the community, basically messaged me saying my performance is going down, I'm not sure what's going on, and maybe this has been relatable for a lot of you. I said, well, hey, how many winning ads have you made in the last 30 days? And he said, well, 0. And I said, okay, well, how many ads have you made in general? And he said, well, I haven't really made any at all. Obviously, I was like, well, number one, that's kind of the problem. But number two, I could tell that it wasn't actually a like knowing what to do kind of scenario. It was, he knew what he needed to do, but it was one of those situations where he just wasn't doing it. And this is a position that I found myself in before. And so this is definitely, again, more of like a ranting style video and kind of giving some ideas of how to kind of trick your brain. Because sometimes I feel like you need to kind of trick yourself a little bit in order to actually do what you need to do. But the point is I said, well, let's think about it this way, okay? If you know that you need to make ads, which most of you who are trying to find new media buying hacks to do this kind of stuff, I made a video recently about this, like you just need to focus on creative. So that's what you need to do. But what if I told you that, okay, hey, listen, I'm going to pay you $100,000 to make 100 ad creatives. Most of you would say, yeah, obviously I do that. And again, if you're at more scale, if I said, hey, I'll pay you $10 million to make 1,000 ad creatives, maybe you'll do that as well. But my point is that I could pay you $100,000 to make 100 ad creatives or 1,000 ad creatives. And essentially what that does is, if you break it down, you make basically about $1,000 per ad creative. And ideally, one of those 100 ad creatives actually becomes a winner. And I'm talking about ad creatives that are done with intent. And again, this is just an analogy to kind of trick your brain a little bit. You know, one of those should ideally become an ad that should be able to make you 6 figures. Even if you just make one ad that spends 30 grand a month at a 2x ROAS, right? Or 2.5x ROAS, and that makes you 70K back or 75 or 80K back or whatever it is, and say that ad runs for 2 to 3 months, like that should be able to make you close to $100,000. All you had to do was just make 100 ads and one of them hit. And so my point of this is that I believe it was actually Hormozy that said this, that a lot of the times, like we don't understand the upside that exists because we just can't see it yet. And the truth is that you might not get paid $100,000 to make 100 ads ever, right? Like you might make 100 ads and still be at $0. And for a lot of you that are like early on in your journey, that's probably going to happen. You might need to make 1,000 ads before you actually make your first $100,000. But even then, gamify it down. It's like, well, you're making $100 an ad, right? So it's like, just keep making ads. Every day that you make ads, you keep making money. Now you might not get paid that money up front, but you will get paid to you at some point. And so it's a really great way to just kind of trick your mind. And going back to my point about what Hormozy said is like, you might not make $100,000. You actually might make $1 million. Like you might be able to create an ad that doesn't spend 30K per month. It spends 30K per week or 30K per day. For one of our brands, I think we're at batch number 90 or something like that. So we haven't even made 100 concepts for them yet. And we've already been able to add $40,000 a day in spend to their ad account. We're not even at batch 100, but we've added $1.2 million in spend, or on track to, and on top of that, do so profitably. And so think about the amount of money that we're making, and we haven't even made 100 concepts yet, right? Like it's crazy. And it's one of those things where if you just kind of like, you're struggling to do the work, you're struggling to sit down. It's like a lot of you guys that are trying to build even bigger businesses, like you want to do $10 million a year or $20 million a year, like you're solving a $20 million per year problem basically, or you're working a $20 million per year job. It's not supposed to be super easy. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants to make money and wants to make money super easily, but at the end of the day, it's like, if it's just so easy to make money, like everybody would just make money and then nobody would want to make money. What makes it worth it is the fact that like most people can't do it. You know what I mean? And so my point with this is like, for a lot of you, sometimes what's holding you back is just your mindset on things. I didn't really understand this in the beginning, but if I was able to just kind of trick myself and tell myself like, hey, someone's going to pay me $100,000 to send 1,000 emails or send 10,000 emails, I'd be like, 100%. All right, let me send 10,000 emails, done. And then when you think of it that way, it's like, it's easy to do. It's like you think that you're getting paid. And the truth is, again, you could actually get paid way more, but it's the risk. It's the thought of like, oh, we might not get it, or more importantly, like we can't see it. That is what holds us back. Sometimes if you just like delude yourself a little bit, basically you just pretend like, hey, I'm going to get paid $100,000 if I just make 1,000 ads. Then by the time you get to like ad number 300 or 400 or concept rather, all of a sudden you found a winning ad and you actually did make the $100,000 and you made it way sooner than you actually thought. And so this has been a really helpful frame. Whenever I'm like, I know I have work to do and I'm like struggling to do it, I just remind myself, I'm like, somebody's paying me $1 million to figure this out. You know what I mean? If you had a briefcase next to you of $1 million and someone was like, hey, make 100 100 ads or 1,000 ads or make 100 landing pages or test 100 products and then you get this money, obviously you would do it, right? Or at least I would hope so. If $1 million isn't enough motivation for you, then obviously bump the number up, but you get my point, right? Even if you want to get really high level, hey, I'm going to pay you $10 million if you hire 4 world-class people to come and continue to build out your company. Are you going to hire those 4 people and make sure they're amazing? Probably, because it's $10 million. And so this has just been a really helpful frame, and I just want to share with you guys. And I don't know, apparently you like the last mindset video and you like when I yap about some of this stuff, so I'm yapping about it again. And I feel like for me, especially in times where I'm like, oh, I don't want to do any work today, it's like, bro, you're solving a $10 million problem. 1, that's sick that you get to do that. And then 2, it's like, obviously it's supposed to be hard. It's a $10 million thing. But at the end of the day, it's like for a lot of you guys, when you get to a certain level, like, you know what you need to do. Obviously you need to learn how to do it better for a lot of people that are watching this video. But even then, again, remove a 0 if you need to. Even if you guys think about it from this way, I'm going to pay you $10,000 or I'm going to pay you $20,000 for making 200 ads. For some of you guys, if you actually just legitimately made 200 ads, don't you think you would be way better? I'm not trying to like tell you guys that, yes, you're going to make $10,000 or $20,000 if you make 100 or 200 ads. But my point is like, honestly, if you just do enough work, enough volume, and then you actually have feedback loops where you correct yourself and you're applying the right information and the right strategies. Now, that's the next hardest thing, because most of you guys are trying to find a new strategy each and every single day, when at the end of the day, it's about becoming a better marketer more than anything, for those of you that are in eCom. But if you just stick to that and you just do that and you just continue to make ads and test products and test offers and do the high level things that need to be done, that briefcase of cash it's sitting there waiting for you, and you will get it eventually. Out of all of the people that are kind of like in my circle now, or people that I've even just used to talk to, at some point they make like at least 6 figures, right? And for a lot of you bigger business guys that are obviously, you know, trying to make 8 or 9 figures, it's like part of the reason why it becomes harder to actually get to that next level is because you don't have to do the work, right? So for those of you that are at a bigger level, you know, you're kind of in this position where you don't need to do it. Actually, in a weird way, becomes harder because you can kind of just sit back and coast and like not really have to worry about it, right? Maybe you can't buy a jet or you can't buy a 7 Ferraris or a yacht, but you know, you're living pretty good, right? Sometimes doing the work becomes even harder. And so to get to that next level, sometimes you really have to like shift your perspective of like, hey, somebody's going to pay me 10 mil to do this. Like, would I do this for 10 mil? Like, yeah. And at the end of the day, I'll share one final personal story with you guys. Is when I was actually building one of our new programs that is for people who are at a very high level, trying to figure out how to build teams and scale teams and stuff like that with their e-commerce brands. And when I was building that program, I was just like, I took everything in me to build it and put it together. And at the end of it, I even had a conversation with my partner, Sean. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Like, this is so much work. I've never worked so much on a specific thing and I don't even know why I'm doing it. And he just told me, he's like, just get through it and do it. And, you know, now as a result of after doing that, you know, the amount of money that I made from making that program actually is kind of how I helped develop this frame a little bit further as well, where thinking back about the amount of money that I got paid to basically build that program, it's absurd. And that's just been in like the first 2 months and 2.5 months that it's actually been like available for people to even get. And I'm looking back at it and I laugh. I'm like, if you would have told me in the beginning that I would make this much money from making this program, like I would have had it done in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have taken me 3 months, although, you know, I probably would have put more time into it. But at the end of the day, you get the point. And so hopefully this video has helped you kind of reframe things in your mind. So again, the TLDR of all this, the takeaway is that if you can change it to, hey, if I just do this amount of work, I'm likely going to solve this $100,000 problem or this $1 million problem or this $10 million problem. And if you think of it from that way, where it's, hey, if I do the inputs that are required, I'm likely going to figure out something or create something for most of you guys, winning ads or winning offers that are going to make you tons of money, you know, potentially hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. And so when you frame it that way, all of a sudden the work kind of becomes easier to do because now you're doing it to get paid, right? I just hope that this sticks with at least one of you that are watching this and potentially struggling to do the work. Maybe you're early on and you're not really sure what to do, and so you're trying to consume a bunch of information. Just understand that if you just do a lot of reps, like, you're gonna get good, and then at some point that briefcase that is virtual and imaginary will actually be there for you. And then for those of you that are at a higher level, I think a lot of the times it just comes down to just understanding like, hey, this problem that I'm trying to solve or this amount of money that I'm trying to make is there. And again, like I said, sometimes we underestimate how much money is there. Sometimes it's a lot more than we expect. And so if you just try to, again, trick your brain to saying, hey, I'm solving a $10 million problem or a $5 million problem, this is what I need to do it. And once I figure it out, I'm going to get paid. All of a sudden it becomes a little bit easier to do the work because you're not thinking about all these, what if I do all the work and this and that? What if it doesn't work? You're just focusing on the work that needs to be done. Hopefully this is helpful again to some of you. And if you are interested in getting potentially more guidance so you know that you're actually working on the right stuff, again, we obviously have our Evolve program, and it should be the first link down below. And if you're brand new kind of to eCom, or you've got a brand, you're doing less than 100K per month, and you've consumed every single YouTube video on the planet, and you just kind of want a more consolidated, structured program of like what you need to focus on, you can check out Origins as well. It's the second link in the description. But I just hope that if anything can help change your frame on things to be able to do more of the work. So at the end of the day, watching these YouTube videos is great, but you have to actually take action in order to actually get to that next stage. Action is the only thing that matters, but actioning the right things and making sure that you're completing those feedback loops to correct yourself when you aren't doing the right things is even more important. But again, keeping this frame in mind of like, you're going to get paid. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of doing the work. And that hopefully helps you actually get there and helps you make whatever that amount of money is that you're trying to make.